The next match onto the pitch in the Robina Stadium is Uganda against Sri Lanka. Uganda led by Okarach with his brother Wokarach also alongside. And we're on first name terms with most of the Sri Lankans. Uttatanther, the captain for Sri Lanka. And once again, Richard Horton, he's getting a good run out today. I'd say one of the quickest wingers in the game. Played sevens, played a very good winger for Saracens as well. And getting a bit thinner on top, but still those legs carry him along at a decent pace.
It's too quick, that's the problem.
So Uganda send it high down the middle, and yikes. Do you remember the beast Tawarira holding up his man for an age in one of the games for South Africa? Was it South Africa or was it a domestic game? I can't remember. Anyway, that was a lighter weight version of that.
Tackle.
Well, Sri Lanka on the attack straight away, and they will get the opening try. And it is Wijikun, who has been the standout player for Sri Lanka. He managed to score in the opening 2 games, and he's done it again in the 3rd, so a bit of a hat-trick for Wijikun.
It's pretty sharp. I like the comparable to the beast, albeit he was lifting a 125-kilogram man rather than an 80-kilogram man. But a nice little ball shift, gets on the outside and just backs his pace. We saw in the first game and the second game how impressive he was when he gets in the open space. And the Sri Lankans are trying to grow their rugby. They bring a lot of Western support in, often deemed the IPL of Rugby Sevens used to have a tournament where they could auction off international players, and with that grow the game domestically, get the media backing it. And they've got 1 or 2 really strong players here, and he's one of them.
Not a bad dig with a conversion attempt, but wide it went. Yes, Wijikun scored in the hefty defeat against Fiji. Sri Lanka lost 63-5, but he got on the score sheet, and he scored against Wales in the defeat. Uganda looking for something. I think they're looking to develop their program and become akin to Kenya, the other East African nation that has a good pedigree in sevens, and Uganda looking to develop along those lines. And good handling sets them free on the wing here, so a chance for Uganda to respond. Straightening of the line, and then the give of the pass to Kaziga, and Kaziga now in a race for the corner, given up by the chasing defender, and Kaziga in, try apiece.
Almost nonchalant walk back there, like it was expected. Only person in shot of him was Richard Horton, as you'd expect. With some good interplay, some big pass needed out in front, and that's where your big players can run onto it. Okarach, as we always mention, so pivotal in this Ugandan team, and his brother Wokarach. Most things happen around those two. Lovely little shift, gets the ball in one hand, puts it back in 2, by which time the defender's committed, passes it out once more, and that's a gliding finish. I love to see when the fast men find their feet.
The conversion 2 just to the right-hand side, so a try apiece. Conversionless try apiece. Now tied up at 5-all. Fireworth, the restart, and taken down by Ratwati. It was a bit of a risky pass the way of Uttatanther, the captain. Into touch they go.
Well, a little bit of inconsistency there with what would normally have been deemed a high tackle. We've seen so many times now where that arm goes around the neck and it's being penalised, but Uganda getting away with it there and getting the ball from the line out.
Tapped back by Odongo.
Not straight.
Well, I've seen squinter ones like that than that let go, but
Not straight.
this one is penalised, so Sri Lanka will have the put in. Would you still back Richard Horton against a few of these players in a sprint?
He would be second fastest on the pitch.
Uganda take it, good work, and there is that. Well, eventually just takes it from his side. Michael Okarach, the captain, in he goes, and he's a sizable unit. I'm going to ask you who would be the fastest on the pitch in a minute.
We've just seen him fly. Ugandan number 11, Kisaga, he's pretty quick when he gets going. Wakarash pretty adept. Okarash not too shabby either. But there this time it's Michael, the captain. The older brother from the Heathens. Love the story about the Ugandans. Everything they do is with passion. So much pride in their rugby. East African rugby playing Hong Kong 10s. They bring team over, encapsulating the Cranes, the Ugandan Cranes as part of it. And it's a wonderful story. Never left the village and they get to sample the delights of Hong Kong.
So Sri Lanka take the restart. Some big bogan moss starting to fly around the stadium. It's good work by Chandradas and a penalty to Sri Lanka. Actually, he's only 37, Richard Houghton. I've just worked that out. He was a flyer. So yes, at 37, he probably still has got a good bit of pace in him.
You've got me on ref watch now. I'm just looking to see if he gets a chance to open up.
No clear release.
Frustration with Richard Houghton, like many of these Ugandan players, is it's so deceptive. They get to top speed and almost cruise.
Sri Lanka looking for a way through, and there's another tackle which is just a sort of shoulder height, living on the edge, and the new laws went backwards, says Richard Houghton. Sri Lanka perhaps get away with one there. A good thump comes in from Okarach. But Sri Lanka still get it moving, and Magomu shifts it out. And then Dharmapala. Penalty once again to Sri Lanka. Too many infringements from Uganda, offside. And Sri Lanka just taking a moment. Ratwati in discussion with Muthutantar, the captain. But it'll be Sura Yarachichi who steps forward to make the decision. There it is on now to Ratwati. Not held by Okarach, that gets back to his feet. Dharmapala gives it out, and there is the captain, Muthutantar, and he's going himself. A little step inside, but two yellow shirts fall upon him. But Sri Lanka now looking to move it. And Wijikun, the danger man, fends off one, stretches, rolls. Does he get it down? He does. Try to Sri Lanka once again. It is that man, Danushka Wijikun, just as the hooter sounds at the end of the first half. And Sri Lanka, well, it might have a close match on our hands here in the second.
Oh, that's a great finish. So difficult when you get three men in the channel to beat them all. Gets rid of Wakarash, which is no easy feat, but then the bounce back on the inside, rides that hit. And even Odongo flying in with his right shoulder, can't stop it. That's a great finish.
Conversion is going to drift to the right and come up shy. 2 points the difference. At half-time it is Uganda who lead Sri Lanka by 12 points to 10.
Not hard. We're not running in hard. Too soft. Okay? Just be. Hang on. Okay? Be harder. Get there now, please. Okay. Let's begin our last 7 minutes of this game. Let's dive. Letumala. 7 minutes and we're done. Let's go and put in another score, boys. Yeah, man. If we score fast, they're dead. Yep. Letumala, eh? Look it to go. Go. 1, 2, 3.
5 seconds. 10 seconds. 5.
So the second half in this little private tussle, it's offside
kicker.
in front of the kicker. A pretty simple mistake to start the second half for Sri Lanka. So nothing really to play for in terms of the overall tournament. There we are in front of the kicker, and that's another thing they've been cracking down across 15s and 7s. And so Uganda with a free ball with which to play. But yes, neither of these sides can get through even to the classification matches. And that's a typically bullocking run from Okarac. He's still going. Will somebody stop him? Just outside the 22, and penalty to Uganda as well. And quickly taken on by Foyerwath, and he's rolling his way up towards the try line. Penalty though to Sri Lanka. And if they just pause for a moment, I'll get a chance to tell you that the top team in each pool goes through to contest the medals. They go through to the semi-finals. And the second team in each pool will go through, and they'll play for 5th to 8th place, and the other remaining 8 go no further.
Another bit of an injury on show here with the rolling ankle. Be very careful about those, but it's wonderful breakdown skills. This Sri Lanka team, as we mentioned, are not heavyweight. You could see by the previous carry, it was like a reasonably heavy backpack on Wakarash, which barely stopped him.
Well, Foyerwath is hobbling off to the side of the pitch, so he'll be replaced. He'll get some treatment.
Go, yeah.
And Sri Lanka take it from their own try line. Oh, and a couple of tackles slip away, and it might be an opportunity now for Sri Lanka. It's a foot race to the line or to the corner. It's big against small, and the small in the form of Surya Bandara looking for friends now. Heni Kankanamagi gets it going. And Sri Lanka an opportunity to try and take the lead, but Uganda have marshalled the defence once again. So Ratwati, no way through there, and Uganda an opportunity to come away from their own try line. Suddenly the game just breaking up a little bit, and there is space, and can Uganda exploit it? Once more a race, but Uganda have numbers, have support, and it will be a try for the African side. And James Odongo, again after that rather breathless passage of play, you get the boos from the crowd for standing there, but Sri Lanka could easily get someone to go back and put pressure on him to put it down. He's perfectly entitled to take all the time in the world.
And how about that? That started 1 metre away from the Sri Lankan try line. Ended up almost in the in goal of the Ugandans. Turn it over and off they go. A 200-metre try in 1.5 minutes of play. These guys are just so fit.
They are that, but they are very tired indeed now, and that's why, well, the crowd can boo all they like. I'm going to take some time here and take a little breather. Conversion went over off the try of James Odongo. And Philip Wakarac takes the restart and gets a huge amount of height on it, and so Uganda will have another opportunity. Casito straight in, sliding in, and suddenly Uganda moving away with this game.
They'll change gear down, shift, bit of pace comes through. It's speculative. Whenever an offload gets batted down or is on the floor, it's a 50-50. And he just backs himself, gets it. There is no doubt in his mind he's scoring that there. Gets it in his hand. Casito, not the biggest of these Ugandans, but that's a great statement.
So Uganda just taking this game by the scruff of its neck now, 16 points clear. Still plenty of time for Sri Lanka to come back. 3.5 minutes in 7s is... it's like 40 minutes in dog years. Ball loose at the restart, into touch it goes.
How high was that restart? I mean, it's phenomenal skill set to be able to kick a ball that high with a drop kick. Real specialism of the game of 7s, and Wakarash, he nails it.
Some good games to come after this. 3 more games to finish the day after this. Fiji against Wales, then Papua New Guinea, Malaysia, perhaps the weaker of the three remaining, if we're being kind. South Africa against Scotland to finish things. Uganda once again. Sri Lanka, a few too many mistakes now, and it is Okarach this time. I say he's got plenty of size, but he's got a step, and there is the generosity of the Seven Spirit. You have this one, my friend.
It saves him buy him a Christmas present, doesn't it? You get your name up in lights. Rugby Stadium looking pretty spectacular. Crowd may well be slowly dripping out, but there's some serious rugby to be played, and that's a nice touch from the Ugandan men. Selfless skills from the captain. Okarach being in one, jumping out of it, and then hands it over to Guinea.
Remember, you got me that pair of socks last Christmas. There you go.
Don't get me them again.
8.
So Guinea with a try. And Uganda a long way clear now. This game, which was in the balance for a while, turned around really on that 200 meters end to end stuff. We're into the final 2 minutes now, and well, Uganda penalised this time in front of the kicker, and the man in front was Michael Okarach, the skipper. Houghton, the rule of Houghton.
Again, sneaking forward there, you've got to be so disciplined on it, just gives it away in the middle of the field.
I think they're right to penalise it even more severely in sevens, because the restarts are so important. Just stealing a couple of meters can make all the difference in retaining that ball. Can Sri Lanka respond? A bit of space out wide for Flarheni Kankaramaji, and manages to get the offload, but just running beyond it. There's a Pereira. Surya Bandara gets them going once again. Oh, lovely step from Surya Bandara. Sets it back now. Uganda trying to counter ruck, but still with the Sri Lankans. And some tired bodies out there now. A tired pass is unable to be taken. And Uganda have the scrum into the final minute.
Dharmapala not happy there. Clear frustration shown. As Widjikun is on the sideline now. Just a dipping pass. As soon as it starts dropping down in front of you, really difficult to get your hands low enough like a slip catch to keep hold of it. You lose your momentum. It's called a stopper. It just completely ends your momentum.
Fine. Set.
So Uganda, seconds remaining. And the step from Philip Okarach. Built from the same mould as his brother Michael Okarach. Hooter sounds. Still time for Uganda? No, we've had enough, they say. We've got our victory in this tournament. And so Uganda, after a couple of defeats, get their win at the Commonwealth Games. They'll